Well, I am back in the greater Seattle area, finally, after a very long ride. So I've come full circle, gone all the way around the Pacific Northwest, the Mountain States, and am back now home. And today I am with Myles Ostheimer, who is the president and one of the founders of Bridge Data, based here in the greater Seattle area. Now, you are a regional VAR, is that correct?
That's correct, based in Washington and Oregon.
Great. Tell us a little bit more about your company. What are the areas that you focus on from a technology perspective and a customer perspective?
Yeah, so we built our company off of 3 pillars, we call it, storage, system, and networking. And based out of Washington, we do have 2 offices, as I mentioned, Washington, one in Seattle, and then our team in Portland, Oregon, covering all of Oregon. And we do focus on those pillars primarily, but we've built services and all sorts of other disparate resources based on needs of our customers to support our core competencies.
Now, you do have different types of customers, don't you, in Washington versus Idaho versus Oregon?
Yes, in Washington we've historically focused mostly on state, local, and education business, while in Oregon we're working mostly in the commercial space.
Okay, that's great. Now, your company is 6 years old. You're one of the founders. Talk a little bit about how you've been building the business and entrepreneurship. What does it mean to be an IT entrepreneur?
Yeah, so when we formed our company, we came from very different manufacturing backgrounds, and some were customers actually, and we collectively recognized a need for a better VAR in the Northwest. One that was focused on our customers and would bring in proper resources to really help and truly add value to the value-added reseller title. And so we formed that company and really had to be mindful of partnerships and how the technology would support our customers, as well as what engineering resources we focus in on. And one of the challenges with the building of VAR is, do you try to be everything to everybody, or do you focus in on core competencies, knowing that somehow I have to fill the void in some places there? And I've seen a lot of VARs form companies trying to be everything, and it can be a struggle for them. So we've tried to really be refined to what we do best.
Yeah, and as a VAR, I think you're seeing more and more technological innovation, more products, more offers, areas like hybrid cloud, etc. So really filtering through all that is quite a challenge. Is there any sort of process or approach that you take to sort of filter things out and identify those areas that you do want to focus on?
Yeah, being very mindful of what is out there for technology. It's changing so quickly. How do we keep our thumb on the pulse of that at all times, but also being mindful of really what our customers are consuming. I don't want to be too far ahead of the curve, right? Because I could spend a lot of resources focusing on things that may not come to fruition, but I need to be mindful so that when a customer has a need and I can see that right technology, I can align those 2 together and show value to our customers.
So data center modernization is the big buzzword in terms of what companies are thinking about. What are some of the things that you've been doing to help customers to take advantage of data center modernization, or give them sort of the education they need to make the right decisions?
Yeah. I think when I think of data modernization, I think of 2 primary topics. I think of cloud, and I think of hyper-converged infrastructure, a more modern approach to building infrastructure. And a lot of times those 2 can very well complement each other. And so for our customers, it's understanding whether there's resources out there, being available to run modeling around that too, to show, does it make sense to either leverage cloud, or do we need to go and do an infrastructure type of model, and then having the resources to support that.
So we were talking earlier off camera about sort of the customer life cycle that you're seeing in terms of the the move to the cloud and then the move to hybrid. Can you share a bit more about that?
Yeah, so it's interesting based on the organization type. There's a big difference between those. I will use a startup company as an example. So we do have a lot of startup business that we do in the Seattle area, and a lot of these companies, just like ours, are born in the cloud. It makes sense. It's easy. It's efficient. It's financially efficient, and I can deploy very quickly in the cloud. At some point in scale, as the company grows, it can become an issue, and at some point we have to figure out and at least talk to and look at infrastructure. Does it make sense to come out of the cloud?
Get back in place.
And then there are other organizations very large where they're not leveraging some of the benefits of cloud, whether it's focusing on a disaster recovery initiative to an application deployment initiative. There are lots of ways that we have to implement cloud for our customers that are even that are larger. So it's interesting that the kind of the tug of war that we have with cloud. Some customers going in, some coming out, and at the end of the day, it's going to be a bit of both.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So you've been a partner with Dell for the entire 6 years of Bridge Data. Tell me a bit about the relationship with Dell EMC. What are we doing well for you?
So we came out of a previous VAR, it was a national VAR, and formed our locally owned bridge data solution tent, if you will. Set up shop, and my very first call was to Dell, the Dell channel manager, because for years working at it as a different VAR and through manufacturers, I saw the value of Dell. We just weren't doing a lot, and one of the things I wanted to make sure we did when we formed this company was align with a vendor that we saw adding value to customers, from a strategic perspective.
Sure.
And so we really honed in on that, and it's been a great success for us. The technology is unbeatable.
Yeah.
A lot of what we do for our customers is, vendor agnostic pre-sales analysis, really helping us define what solution is going to be right for them based on the application specifics, looking at their environment and understanding the limitations they may have inside of the data center. Once I have an understanding of all of that, it helps us see technology for its real value to the customer. And when we go through that process, really organically, we were finding over and over that Dell was on top of that list.
Great.
And so it's been great for us to build that partnership with you guys and know that we're producing a really great technology for our customers.
That's good. Any areas where we can improve? Any things that we can always do better in some areas.
Yep.
We're not perfect.
Yep. So I think it's on the channel partnering side. I think that's been a significant challenge for us. The only drawback we see when working with Dell is we feel consistently that in most places that there's a little bit of co-opetition, if you will, right? So we're agreeing to partner, we're also kind of competition in some aspects. So the ability to trust the channel, understand the VARs that are truly adding value to you, and then embracing and growing that trust so that we can really work strategically together.
Yeah, that's great. Very last question for you, Myles. You're in a very, very competitive market here in the Pacific Northwest, and in particular in the Washington State, Seattle area.
Mm-hmm.
What is Bridge Data's secret sauce in terms of winning the customer?
Yeah. So I touched on it a bit earlier, but it really comes down to just customer service, old school customer service, if you will. For us, as a VAR, it really takes the shape of how we represent technology. I always say that I'm here to represent my customers, not the vendors that we're partnered with. And that might sound adversarial to our vendors, but it's not. If I'm understanding the true needs of our customer, as I mentioned earlier, understanding the parameters of the environment and the application, and if I do the pre-sales analysis and I do the comparative work to see that Dell's top of the list consistently when it comes to, I'll take compute as an example, then I become actually a really good partner to Dell because we're aligning with that technology because of its true merits.
Right.
And so it's really great value to our customers. It's something that they recognize and talk to very passionately about us and how we care for them. It also works very well with our vendors who we've selected to work with because it does help us sell products and sell it efficiently. So that's been a huge thing in I think our value add. And I always say to our customers, if you are losing sleep, we're losing sleep. We're in this together, and we're consistent. My team's been around supporting our customers for quite a long time, and not just with that bridge, but at our previous VARs that we were at. So we've been here for a while. We've been establishing these accounts, and we're here to support them.
Great, wonderful. Well, Myles, thanks so much for the perspective. Really appreciate it, and thanks for being a great partner.
You bet. Thank you.